Welcome. It's me, Tio from Whatwouldteosay Photography. Thank you for tuning in. We are on episode 3. It's been quite a day today, but we're going to get through this. Today's episode is titled Doing Work for Free. I mentioned it in my, I believe it was my first video, second video. It was in one of those videos. I'll put the link up so you could watch it. But doing work for free. Let's jump right into it. I think every photographer has gone through a period where they had to do free work, or as it's known, pro bono work. There comes a time and place for it. It shouldn't be dismissed completely. It's because it's something that is needed. I'm gonna share my thoughts and opinions on that. So I have basically 3 reasons why on you when and why you should be doing free work. The first, if you're starting off as a photographer, specifically if you get into the professional side of it, you want to build your portfolio, because your portfolio is what's going to attract your clients, whether that is a company or whether that is individuals, depending on what realm of photography that you're getting into. The portfolio is going to differ, but the portfolio is the necessary staple to introduce people to your work. So, which leads to this point. When you're starting off, your portfolio is not where it needs to be most of the time. That's when you start reaching out to different individuals, start taking portraits if that's what you do, and that's also the time and opportunity to really tighten up your skills. And also, that's also a time to experiment, really, because 1, you're not getting paid for it. 2, the model is volunteering their time. And if you explain that to them, they're, for the most part, are pretty much fair game in terms of, they allowing you to use their likeness to support you. And generally, when I do when I do pro bono work, I give I'll allow them to use the photos on their platform, as long as I get credit. And from time to time, I'll print out, give them a printed photo as a thank you gift. So that's when you should really, that's like a must, when you're starting off. A second point to this is when it's excuse me, it's your decision, not someone else, when you choose to do pro bono work. I've heard many different stories, horror stories to be exact, where individuals were contacted and, the person, had this idea how they wanted this particular photo shoot to go. They had a concept, they had all this, and they decided, this was going to be free work. They're going to use their likeness, their social media presence, or just depending where they are in life, especially if they're popular, you're basically eating off their backs. There's a very, very fine line with that. Some individuals, yeah, it makes sense, especially if there's a trade off. with that. But most of the time, you know, you gotta eat. This is not necessarily a free meal. Paying your bills. The bill man don't care about your excuses on not paying the bill. They don't. They simply do not care. So there's a very fine line with that, and a lot of people do that because if you have gotten into the habit of continuously doing free work, um, you're gonna be known as the free work guy. And you have to set soft boundaries and hard boundaries as far as how you go about doing your pro bono work. Those soft boundaries can be, leaving leaving a small amount of individuals or companies, however way you want. They have an inside work with you, especially if there's always going to be a trade-off. I do this for you, you do this for me, and it's a constant working relationship. Hard boundaries is exactly what it is. You let it be known. Um, making sure you have all the entities that you need to let people know that you are an active and engaging photographer that charges. What are those entities? Website. We'll start small with a DBA, but eventually moving your business acumen to another level. Your LLC, depending how big you get, you might want to do a corporation. And those are things that set boundaries for people and let them know, hey, listen, this individual is a professional. Clearly, they have all the pieces in play. I'm going to entrust that they can get the job done. That's what those business entities do. That's what all of that is for. Having proper studio space. Some photographers run out. They don't feel the need to have a studio space. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, But it does make a difference when a client reach out and you let them know the prices, different things of that nature, and you give them an address, that sells them too. All right. And set the third point is setting the limits of pro bono work. I do pro bono work, but I'm very particular how much pro bono work that I want to do. And from time to time I do pro bono work because I'm thinking of a concept. I want to add a certain element to my portfolio. That is why I said pro bono work shouldn't be dismissed, because if it's my idea, my concept, I'm going to fork the expenses to get that done, So I, definitely setting limits, and I do both street photography work and portrait work. So, as far as the street photography side, I'm constantly shooting, so that's not even a big deal. But the portraiture is a whole nother monster. Always pushing my creativity and always trying to expand my client base and get my work out there and to attract new clients as well. So set the limits on those pro bono work. Don't get to the point where you completely forget the business of photography, because you're gonna fall into a trap with photography. And I say this with great love. Is quite the rabbit hole. You could go so deep and depending on what you're doing. So. And I want to leave you with this little piece of advice. before I sign off. And it's this: you are worthy of getting paid and making a living off photography. And don't let anyone tell you different. Remember those words. You are worthy of it. There are individuals that, especially with the coming of age with smartphones, where people feel like, you know what, I have the newest, latest phone. We could do this ourselves. You know what? We as photographers, we have a skill set. We blood, sweat, and tears put in our soul into this. And don't be distracted by that. Continue to do the good work, continue to put out good work, and, be the best at what you do. With that being said, subscribe, comment, and like. Join all my social media platforms. The links is down below. Thank you for taking the time and watching this. Till the next time. Peace.